WolverThor! Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I wanted to talk a little bit about our new Alpha 4 raid. Specific to, well, a few things about it. One, just about it in general, and two, I used to do these back in the day where it's when do you jump from Alpha 3 to Alpha 4, and can you, and what does it make sense, what are the numbers behind it, all that kind of thing. So our Alpha 2 is actually able to be launched right now, believe it or not. So I'm just going to go in here and Alpha 4 this bad boy up, and that's the launcher. All right, so what we're going to look at is, rewards. I'll go in detail through these. So this is Alpha 4, Tier 1. You get your Venom Orbs, you get your Gold Orb, and these are all 4 fragments. And you get your regular orange gear Orb Fragments. Tier 2, it's, a step up to each one of those. And Tier 3, the nice thing here is if you're able to Tier 3 is you get these orange Elite Orb Fragments. Those are your kind of your special items that you need for your gear Tier 13. So really, excuse me, I've still got that cough lingering. Really only your high-end alliances are even going to touch that in general. We'll get to that in a second about Alpha 4, whether they're doing it or not. And then, you can look at your, Alpha 3. And again, I'm going to go through this in detail, rewards, where it's, really just what the Tier 3 and Alpha 3, obviously there's no orange elite orbs, but you do get your orange gear orb fragments. So before we start looking at exactly what the when you do what, let's look at let's just kind of look at this raid for a second. So typically strike team 2, and this is set up just like Alpha 3, where you've got your cosmic nodes over here on the left hand side, kind of branching up here, and then you've got your global in the middle, which is these, and you can see your global traits here, and that kind of works in the middle. And as they intersect, it's cosmic and global, and then on the right side you've got your city / global, and then your city. So your city are kind of far right, and as it intersects, you can use either of our. And then as you kind of come up the wing here, you got your cosmic again on solo on the outside. You got your global up the middle, and then you've got your city on the side with some what is it? All global, yeah, a couple global, and then the last one there's no restrictions. So on the right side it's the same thing. So you've got a left and a right, and it's really about cosmic, global, and city, and then the mixture of two. So looking at these nodes, let's just click this one that's already been engaged. You can see, you get 565 points per that node. If you want to look at a boss node, you're talking about 845. But let's focus on the opponents in this. You can see everybody's full 7-star, and everyone in this first one is either 3 or 4 red star, and that's your first node. Pretty challenging. I've only done the cosmic lane here, once, which was yesterday, and went up it, and I know it was pretty tough. I've got a pretty solid cosmic team. These first 2 nodes weren't terribly difficult. This one actually wasn't that much fun. That's a kind of summoner's node, where you've got Fury, Kingpin, Nobu, and Loki just summoning like crazy. And then as you get to this, second layer of nodes, when I say second layer, maybe you want to call it your third, you're starting to get the 4, and does it get to 5-star? Yeah, it already gets into 5 red stars. Your boss node here, it's this one was pretty tough. You've got your Carnage in there, and you've got, all 5 stars. So you got a Drax, and Deadpool, Pyro, some Spider-Verse imagery, Magneto. It's pretty tough. You're jumping across here, very similar, difficult boss node, 5 red stars. Again, these are all, 4 or 5 red stars. So you get that boss node. It drops down a little bit again, where you can see it's, you've got some 4s and some 5s. Same thing across the middle. That global one looks like it could be pretty tough. And one of the things I was talking about, some of these are, they can be difficult for, actually a cosmic lane or a, global lane, depending on what these counters are. And if you've got, things to clear, Drax's taunts, Spider-Man's quick, Gamora's quick, Black Panther's quick, Daredevil's quick, and, global, outside of maybe the Nick Fury squads aren't the super quickest. Hawkeye's pretty quick. And then you really start getting, it gets really tough, I think, from this point forward, where you're talking about, more 5 red stars. Here was 5 red star, 5 and 6. This boss node and these boss nodes are just, pretty brutal, where you're getting to 6 full red stars, and then it's a 5er. That's another 5er. And where's the 7s at? Okay, so you're full 6 there, full 6 there, and now you're getting to 7. So before you even go up this lane, you're talking about 7 stars, or as you're kind of going up it. This is all 6. This is all 6. Actually, hold on, before I say it's all 6. Yeah, there's some 7s there. So you're going up these lanes, full 7 star. Not full 7 star. There's some 6 there. But it's, 6 and 7s, and then obviously all 7s. And you've got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 18 characters there at full 7 red stars. So I'm curious if any of the whales are actually watch my channel at all, what you think about that. I've only talked to one whale friend kind of online, and I know, and they're a top 10 alliance, and I think they were in the 60 to 70% range their first go, and obviously it's the first go, they can improve on that, but holy cow, like you're talking about a top 10 alliance only getting 60 or 70%. I guess, let me do say this, I got a caveat to this, is that I don't think content should be immediately beat when it's put out, even by the highest end people. They should have to work for it. So I'm 100% good with that, and I think everybody should be. If Fox Next puts out content that is just gonna, be super simple to beat immediately, everybody's gonna get bored. Nobody's gonna play. You can't work it that way. You've got to have a grind to an extent. So, we've all kind of got to accept that part of it. So, knowing that you've got that kind of full stop, I think, as you kind of whirl up the side here, I guess, let me hide that because it gets a little bit difficult to see here. As you start coming up here, I get where that could be difficult and you want it to be hard. I will admit the part that I found interesting for my specific alliance was that I think we ended up at 50% in ours. I thought we would be able to get a little bit closer to 60 on our first runs. I didn't think it would be so difficult to get to 60. We're a top, 150-ish alliance probably, depending on the day. I think, let's just see where we're at now, probably in the 140 range. It depends when we launch. 163. So given that we just launched that, we'll launch our Ultimates later. We were up as around 125 earlier today. So anywhere from the 163 to 125 range is typically where we're at. So I think it's, I guess the last comment I'll make about this is I know everybody's pretty upset about this raid and how difficult it is. I am too. I'm not going to act like I'm not. But at the same time, I'm not crazy upset about it. I think the part I'm a little upset about, actually, I take that back. I'm not upset about the raid. I'm fine with the difficulty of the raid. The part that I struggle with on this is that the only way to progress further in this and do better is to get red stars, which I've said my piece on a million different times. I did the collaboration video with all the other content creators. Red stars are really just kind of, you can see we get the 50% there. So how am I, the only way I can get red stars are these offers. I don't know if you guys saw Chewburger's video, but he opened up 100 red stars and only got 1/6 red star character, and everything else are duplicates. And even his elites were duplicates, and it's just like you have to wait so long to get that. This raid is going to be around for, let's see how long, oh, not that one. We've got 12 to 13 days for this raid. So if you're talking about 12 to 13 days for a raid, you're not going to get, let's just look. I want to know this. How long have Red Star's been out? Months? All right, great. I don't care about offers. So you can see my top row there. I've got, 3 5-stars. That is fantastic. I've got Drax as a 4-star. Yondu is a 4-star. And this is red specific. Hawkeye just got a upgrade from 4 to 5 the other day. Thanos at 4. And then Korath at 4. Then from that point on Wasp at 4. And Wolverine. I think that's and Kingpin. Is that it? Okay, and then the rest of these guys, Nobu, Ronin, it's like who cares? Shield Trooper at 4, but mine are pretty low. The problem is that I need my Cosmic. Or let's just go to City. Okay, well I've got 1 5-star. Okay, well the rest of these guys aren't going to hang in that lane. And I have no way to, specifically choose them as far as Red Star goes. Cosmic, I'm, furthest along as far as Red Star goes, but, Rocket's only got 2. Star-Lord has none. I can't, I'm all about a lottery, whether I'm paying for it or whether I'm, just playing free-to-play, which I'm doing in the game as far as Red Stars go. Then you talk about global, Pyro, I've got 5. Hawkeye, I've got 5. No synergy there. And then Wasp at 4, again, no synergy. So you're looking at like, well, I want my Brotherhood. Pyro, Juggernaut's only got 1. Anyway, you get the point. So my problem is not with the difficulty of the raid. My problem is, that popped up. I apologize here. You'll see my numbers here in a minute. My problem is not, with the, with the raid itself. It's how am I supposed to prepare myself to beat this raid? Even if I spent tons of money, Chewburger opened 100 Red Star orbs. What am I supposed to do? He didn't get anything he wanted except for 6 Red Star Venom, which, okay, he could take that in a City, I guess, but, most people are going to want to use their Defenders in City because that's their main synergy. Let's actually look at something for a second. So I just want to look at this for 1 second. He got Venom, right? So are all these guys City? So if you want to do Spider-Verse, I think they might be. So, okay, so Carnage is, Miles is. All right, so Fox and X did that right-ish, where all of the Spider-Verse folks are City so that you could use that team of 5 in City if you needed them. But again, it's random. Like, as far as the Red Star goes, he's got Venom. So who else is he going to use him with? This is obviously my squad, not, Chewburger's, but if he gets this Red Star, this is a 6-star Red Venom, okay, maybe he pairs it with Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, but, I don't know. It's a difficult way, and that's where I think people are frustrated, not necessarily in the difficulty of the raid, but, when you looked at Gamma 4, it was frustrating. It was difficult. But you know what I did? I worked on my Kree in my hand. So I don't even have Nick Fury unlocked yet, but this is my Kree team. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. They're all tier 9, close to level 65. 5 trying to push to 6 stars. I worked them up to try to get through that side of the lane. Same thing with the hand here. I was able to focus in, and I was fine with it. It sucked, but, it's part of the game where it's, if you want to get past this part, you've got to build these people. And I could, farm and deal with the RNG of the nodes or whatever and, build these guys up a bit. But anyway, so I'm on a quite a bit of a soapbox there. The thing I'm really here to do is show you guys some numbers. So let's scroll this over. I've done these in the past where I kind of look at these, one raid versus another. So what you're looking at here is you got your Alpha 4, okay? Got your Alpha 3. And we're going to go across here, your number of players, number of nodes, math form that shows your, how many nodes per player, your raid keys. And so it starts to break things down and, how many, nodes are needed for 30%, nodes per person, nodes needed for 60%, nodes per person. I talk about raid points as well, and I'll get to that towards the end, but let's look at really the first part that everyone's going to kind of look at, and that's the gear you get. We talked about getting Venom Orb Fragments, Gold Orb Fragments, Orange Gear Orb Fragments, and eventually Elite if you get to the Tier 3. So, and Alpha 3 is this line. we're really only going to focus on these 2 rows. These this total alliance game and average per raid key it's all calcs that it's kind of boring unless you're really into math stuff, and I'm really just going to focus in on the actual rewards themselves. So what we did here is we took each ranking rewards and put it in there and divided by 4, so you get a general average. So on average within your alliance, if you get 30% in Alpha 4, you'll get 2,718 fragments. Gold Orb Fragments, you'll get 1,700 or have 1,721, and Orange Gear Orb Fragments, you'll get 4,500, a little 4,542. Now, not that you're necessarily comparing Tier 3 of Alpha 3 to Alpha 4, but that would be the what you're looking at there as far as Tier 3. So what you really want to look at is Alpha 3, Tier 3, your 100%, comparative to what this is. Okay, so let's just look at the first number here. Tier 3, 100% Alpha 3 is 2398. Clear upgrade in Alpha 4 if you can 30% it. The delta is, it's right here, is 320. So it's like the Gold Orb Frags. Okay, 1533 in Tier 3. You're looking at Tier 1 Alpha 4. Well, it's 187.5 higher. So, okay, that's an upgrade. So the next thing is, now this part is technically a little, I show this saying as elite, but obviously in Alpha 3 it's not elite, it's your regular, but you get 37 Orange Gear Fragments, whereas in Alpha 4 you get 4,500. Again, a difference of 832. So if you're able to 30% your Alpha 4, then you are better off. I mean, it's much better for you to actually do this raid at 30%. It's specific to just the gear, and obviously as it goes up it's better. I'm not even going to talk about that. The part that I do want to talk about a little bit is, okay, so where do we come on here, buddy, sometimes this thing gets a little wonky. What you do want to talk about is your raid points. Okay, so your raid season rewards, your points, what you get for a raid. I mentioned earlier that in your Alpha 4, you get 565 points for the regular nodes. You get 800 something or whatever it is for the boss. I didn't calculate that, and it's too. I don't know. I got little kids. I'm sick. I'm not gonna go through all the math to figure that out. But let's just focus on just the nodes. So at 565, 30%. You want to know what sub B135 is? It's this one here. The nodes needed for 30%, 63. So finishing one raid of Alpha 4 at 30% will give you 595 raid points. So what does that compare to? Well, I was 100% in Alpha 3 before that. Well, that's okay. Let's go over here. Here's your 100. Okay, well that was 250 points at all 210 nodes. So you can clearly see, well, there's actually an advantage there to stay in Alpha 300%. What is that, a 17,000 point advantage? That's a lot of points per raid. So you really got to think about that. You want more gear, or do you want more raid points to get you 30 more T4 gear? Some people say, well, I want T4. Some people are like, well, I need gold. Well, I need orange gear. Well, I want Venom at 7-star. And everyone's gonna be different. So you can see Alliance is really debating that. Obviously because of that, I threw in one other stat here. Well, you're looking at about 45% really gets you, and you need where you need to be equal there. So if you're getting 45% or more, or right around 45%, you're beating the Alpha 300. And that's based off of 565, need 94.5, 95 really nodes to get the 45%. So the question really comes down to, do you want to grind hard on Alpha 4? Can you get 30% for sure to get those better gear? And if you're just barely getting 30%, how much do you care about your raid season ranking? Are you borderline, top 1 or 2%? Are you borderline top 10%? You might start wanting to think about that a little bit, and it's going to vary. Some alliances are going to say, I'm going to stick at 100% here. I'm going to get those points. This delta and mats isn't that great. Some are going to be like, man, you're crazy. I need every gold orb fragment I can get. we're getting those gold orb fragments. Give them to me. I need venom. I have no way to farm them. You need to get me. We need to do venom orbs. So definitely something to think about. You know, you gotta do what your alliance is works best for you, and kind of go from there. So as always, I hope this video helps. If you got any ideas or suggestions on how you guys are approaching this raid, please leave them below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, and I'd love to just, you know, tell me what you think of this raid. You know, and it's, you know, it being such a challenge is, you know, very interesting to me, and I want to see, you know, how happy or upset people are. So as always, if you like what you see here, please click that subscribe button, as well as hammer down on that like button, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks.